Hello, it's October, what's the date? 26th of October. I'm at Kentucky Kingdom very briefly to check out the construction of things. So quick crash course for anyone unfamiliar. Herschend purchased this park a few years ago in a pretty rough state, I would say, especially for their standard of quality with parks. This park had some pretty great coasters, but visually it was kind of a dumpster fire. So just this year, officially, they've started the multi-year process. Everyone's trying to look through the fence, but they started the multi-year process of trying to, get this park back up to Herschend quality standards. So it is nice. It seems like they're not just doing a Wild Adventures where they mostly leave it alone. They really are doing a lot of work with this park. That started with Discovery Meadows this year, which is redoing the whole back half of the park from the road over to what used to be Storm Chaser and is now Wind Chaser. I'll go ahead and do a quick walkthrough of that in a second as part of this video, because why not? But we do know next year the park is getting a new family coaster from Vekoma, most likely a Vekoma family suspended coaster, going in the front of the park by Lightning Run. So I thought I'd go ahead and show you the progress of that so far. I will say that this ride is being officially announced tomorrow as of when I'm filming this. So this is actually like the worst time to film this. This is just when I happen to be passing through. I guess I'll go ahead and title this video whatever the name of the ride ends up being. So we'll know for sure tomorrow. But all I can do right now is just kind of show you what things look like right now. Okay, obviously by the time I finished editing this, they had already made the announcement for what was going in this area. So as I kind of mentioned, we had thought it was a Vekoma family suspended, and it is indeed a Vekoma family suspended called Flying Fox. This is definitely not like an announcement breakdown or analysis or anything. I just wanted to show you what had been announced so you kind of knew what you were looking at when you look at this construction. But basically, as you can see there, the station for the ride is going to be located behind the current ice cream shop building, which does appear to be staying. And then the coaster is going to have green track, which is not exactly the color I was expecting. But anyways, it's going to wrap around that whole little plaza there. From this main concept art there, it doesn't appear that there's any other rides or anything else going on, but there's some other concept art going around that shows different flat rides around the area that are not currently present in the park. So it is possible down the road that they announce some additional flat rides that might be coming to this area, but based on this main concept art and the announcement, it is just for this coaster. It will have kind of a classic farm crop duster aircraft flying theme, which is kind of weird since Kentucky Flyer already has that theme on the other side of the park to some extent, but this will obviously be much better theming. So again, no announcement on any additional flat rides, no announcement on the area being rethemed, and no announcement on a rename for Lightning Run. All things that I think probably will be coming, but we'll probably hear about later in the off season if the pattern from last year was any indication. The park also uploaded an early animation from Vekoma, the ride's manufacturer, showing the layout. It is a fully custom layout. A lot of parks, when they get these rides, they use off-the-shelf ride models. Even Dragon Flyer at Dollywood is an off-the-shelf model. This one is a fully custom layout just for Kentucky Kingdom, which definitely surprised me. I thought they would go with an off-the-shelf one, so this is definitely nice to see that it is unique and made for that space. And on Kentucky Kingdom's YouTube channel, they have uploaded a POV video from Vekoma, which does show the ride, obviously in an unfinished state. It was kind of just the animation Vekoma made to show it off to the park when they made their bid, I guess. I don't know, but it still has white track in that video and stuff. The actual ride has green track, as you can see, but whatever. Anyways, now you kind of know what you're looking at when we go through the rest of this. Yeah, just kind of ignore anything I say about just kind of guessing about what this might be, because at the time that this video was recorded, we didn't know, but now we know. So at Kentucky Kingdom, once you come this way down the path towards Lightning Run, the path now ends at Lightning Run where it used to continue. Now you've got your teaser sign for 2026. So yeah, some kind of flight themes. And yeah, this path used to continue all the way around. The front half of the park was a loop here. It is not a loop anymore. As you can see, it's just, it dead ends here. It probably will be a loop again once this opens back up, but you'll see on the other side of that wall, not much going on in terms of construction yet, but in terms of demolition, there's really nothing behind this fence anymore. They've cleared everything. There's a super secret peeky hole. Let's peek. So it does look like the ice cream shop back there is staying, at least for now, but everything else has been cleared. Lightning Run's queue will give you some of the best views of what's going on here, which is mostly just demolition and land prep at this point. But you can get an idea of the scale of this revitalization project at the front of the park here. Kind of get the idea from Discovery Meadow that what Herschend is doing right now is taking each area of the park one by one, each area one at a time, and redoing each area to make it nice. Because the main problem with Kentucky Kingdom before is that it's very ugly and very junky. So they're trying to fix all that one area at a time, seemingly, and that'll be happening at the front of the park here with the addition of this new Vekoma, most likely family suspended, which will accompany Lightning Run behind me. This area did used to be home to their flying scooters, their drop tower, and their pirate ship ride, which have all been moved over to Discovery Meadow and rethemed over there. So they've moved out of the way in preparation for this area revitalization. And additionally, there used to be a little pendulum ride that nobody really liked called Cyclos 360, and that has been permanently closed. You can see it, you can't see it now, but from the parking lot, you can see pieces of it lined up behind Lightning Run there. So it is definitely not being sold. It is scrapped, but that is what it is. Nobody liked that anyway. So yeah, not working today because it's a Sunday, but you can see excavators out. You can see they've dug out a whole trench here that's currently full of water. You can't see the water from Lightning Run, you can see it. So I assume maybe some kind of irrigation thing. But yeah, not really a ton to see here, just construction. But what is interesting to note, and I'll kind of show you from the parking lot in a second, is this construction, the land clearing, goes all the way behind the ice cream and funnel cakes building, which makes me think it's staying because they probably would have demolished it by now if they were getting rid of it. And it continues all the way that way, all the way to the left, all the way to the front gate. Which is exciting because I think this is a lot more room than you need for a Vekoma family suspended coaster. So hopefully this comes with, again, a whole revitalization of this area with a new theme. Hopefully there'll be a couple, flat rides to go along with a new coaster. So yeah, it looks like this area will have a kind of flight theme to it. So I'll definitely be interested to know if they're going to retheme Lightning Run. I assume they will at least rename it the way they did with Storm Chaser to Wind Chaser, just since it does form the backdrop of this area. If this area is going to be like a flight theme, I assume this will probably be the last year Lightning Run is called Lightning Run. Before you go into the park, also, you'll see Cyclos 360 was their old pendulum ride. It was one of the ones nobody liked that goes all the way upside down and small. But they announced it would be permanently closing. I think it permanently closed last year, but anyways, it's still kind of in from here for some reason. Yeah, so those are, I believe, the old seats from Cyclos 360 that are just sitting there. And then you'll see over there, there is the actual pendulum arm and everything. So it kind of looks like they're not planning to sell it. It kind of looks like they just scrapped it for parts for other rides, and that's just its fate now. So yeah, there is the rest of Cyclos 360 there. Rest in peace. So here's what's visible of that site from the parking lot here. So it looks like this coaster probably will be coming kind of right up to the parking lot here. So yeah. Okay, yeah, so that comes all the way around this corner. So I doubt that a family suspended coaster is going to be taking up this much space. So I assume they're going to kind of be revitalizing this whole area. So Discovery Meadows is the new area that they've added this year, or it's just a re-theme of the existing area, right? So this will give us a good idea of what Herschend is going to be doing with the park going forward. And I walked through here earlier today, and I'm definitely impressed. I definitely think big thumbs up. I think the park is in pretty good hands with Herschend. This is the kind of quality we can expect the rest of the park being worked on as well. So you can see the Discovery Meadows sign right when we cross the road here. It's a nice sign. So it's kind of no secret that this area is using the Wildwood Grove template, the same kind of art style, the same fonts, the same general vibe and all that. There is kind of its own twist on it that you'll kind of see when we go through. It's not exactly the same, but that's definitely the template they used, which I'm okay with because it allowed them to pretty quickly redo this area and make it so much nicer than it was before. But yeah, you'll see pretty much all of the buildings in this area take on the Wildwood Grove building style, but these are all pre-existing buildings, and I think they did a pretty good job of working them all in. And you'll definitely see interesting stuff like this clock tower here is not a style that you would see at Wildwood Grove at Dollywood, so it's definitely different. This wall used to be like an Ace tribute wall that had some milestones in the coaster world and stuff like that, history, which is kind of interesting. Obviously it's gone now. So you'll see as I briefly walk you through here, everything's been redone. buildings, pavement, everything redone in the Wildwood Grove style. Ride-wise, this area is a combination of pretty much all the rides that were already here are still there in their original locations. They've just been completely repainted and rethemed to match this new vibe. But then there are a few attractions I mentioned from the front of the park, from that area that's being redone right now. Those rides were moved back to this area to kind of help fill in extra space. And then there actually are a couple rides here that are actually brand new, like factory brand new. So the ride density in this area is literally like 3 times what the ride density was before, which definitely helps it to feel a lot more alive. This part of the park used to be the part that felt completely dead before. You just walked through it and nothing was happening. And it is completely the opposite of that now. So here's a look at that new pavement. You've got new flower beds. It is fall now, so we don't have the flowers that we normally have and stuff because it's starting to get cold. All that stuff's not blooming anymore, but you can see the vision with all the extra greenery around. Everything just looks so much nicer than it did before. Yeah, you can see even like that little planter that says meadow grown with love. You know, all those little touches all around this area. There's not really a cohesive story going on here like there is with Wildwood Grove, but everything just looks so nice now. This area of the park really needed it. The whole park really needed it, but this area especially. Treetop drop, here's their Larson drop tower. This used to be, again, in the front of the park where it's all demolished now. It was moved back here. The carousel pre-existing. Back there, their Vekoma kiddie coaster used to be roller skater. Now it's some other weird name I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go look at it. Yeah, so repainted and it's Holly Hawk and Roll now, whatever that means. I will kind of miss roller skater just because I thought it was funny, but this is nice. It works. Although I already see spots where the paint is chipping off and the yellow is starting to show, so we'll see how that lasts with age. This carousel is probably the one thing in Discovery Meadow that just doesn't really work for me. They've tried to make it match, right, the carousel. They've repainted it, but this is kind of your old classic style carousel. I'm trying to make it fit in with this area. You can tell where they didn't want to, paint over the classic carousel horses and stuff. And it just creates this weird clash that for me just doesn't really work. So this is the one thing that, I wish was a little bit different. But you can hear though, they switched out the classic carousel music for kind of like a bluegrass kind of soundtrack. Maybe that's not bluegrass. I don't know my musical genres very well, so don't come at me. But yeah, they switched out the music. I don't remember what this building used to be before, but now it is a new barbecue restaurant that I ate at today. And it is really good, which is great to see. Food has always been one of the worst things at Kentucky Kingdom in the past, in my experience. So it's great to see Herschend bringing in some of their notoriously excellent food from Dollywood and Silver Dollar City over to this park here with at least this new restaurant. I assume this is the kind of stuff we'll see going forward. Another rethemed attraction here. I'm glad they kept this because this is a unique ride type. I don't really recall seeing it at any other parks, but they've given it a repaint and a retheme, and there you go. And then kind of tucked behind the restaurant here is Woodland Run. This was previously Thunder Run. They're not very good, but still here, wooden coaster. It's been renamed Woodland Run. I don't mind the name. I like it actually. But you'll see as we walk back here to the very back of the Woodland Run kind of offshoot here that the ride has received a good bit. I say a good bit. It's received a little bit of Gravity Group pre-cut wood track. You can see the Gravity Group logo up there. Unfortunately, it is just the first drop and then this new little bunny hill that they've added after the first drop. After that, it goes right back to some of the worst track work I've ever experienced on a wood coaster. It still runs terribly. Fingers crossed that the plan is to go section by section and put pre-cut track on the whole thing. If they do that, I think it could be a pretty decent woody. As it stands, it sucks. Which is especially bad when some of the best wooden coasters in the world are like an hour down the street from here. Anyways, you used to be able to cross through here to get to more of the back of the park, but this has been blocked off now because as you'll see in a second, the very back of the park is now completely closed, completely inaccessible. I assume that's the next area they're gonna do after the front of the park that we just looked at. So they also got the same model as Frogs and Fireflies at Dollywood installed here as well. But what's weird about that is if you go near the front of the park, they already have one of these and it's still there. So now they just have 2 of this exact same ride model, which I think is kind of funny. It's not quite the same as the interactive area in Wildwood Grove, but it is cool. We have this little interactive area here. By this restroom building, you can see some more of how they've taken the Wildwood Grove aesthetic and then added a little bit of Kentucky Kingdom twist to it, having the cardinals there. You wouldn't see that in Wildwood Grove, so it is a little bit different, though not terribly different. Thank the Lord they kept their Huss breakout. A very interesting ride model. I've only done this one once, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it is now Seed Spinner. It used to be in the front of the park. It has been moved back here and repainted. But again, I'm very happy that they chose to keep it because it's a pretty classic and somewhat rare ride model. Very enjoyable. Looks like they did a little hay maze thing where the entrance to Mile High Falls normally is, but this was not renamed. It's their main water ride in the park. I guess the only one now that their River Rapids is closed. Yeah, no, it's pretty nice. You can see they moved their pirate ship from the front of the park, kind of over here, over the water from this water ride. So obviously it's drained for the fall and winter now to be winterized, but during the summer season, that's actually a pretty cool visual with the pirate ship right there. Another brand new attraction with this little kid train ride here. Runs from this station around a little loop next to Thunder Run here. As you can see, they've done some cool scenery, such as these little whirligigs here. Those are fun. Yeah, no, they did a really nice job with the landscaping around here, I think. I will say probably my biggest problem with this Discovery Meadows area is that they are currently playing pop music, just generic pop music, but also themed music at the same time from different speakers. So it's like clashing with each other and it sounds awful. Anyways, here's another brand new ride. You can kind of tell which ones are the brand new ones just because of how shiny they are. But yeah, this is a ride type I haven't really seen before. I think I've seen it from like IAPA show floors, but I've never seen it like installed in a park. So that's interesting. And then here's where the pirate ship is here. Getting to the very back of Discovery Meadows here, you can see Happy Hollow, which is a new play area they've made out of what used to be like a little gift shop that was never really open, so it's good they've utilized that space better. This is another snack stand that was never open, but you can see it is redone and actually open now. So all fantastic stuff. Getting in the very back here, I love they've got this little turf area with cornhole, places to sit and relax, etc., etc. It's just really nice how they've managed to use pretty much every bit of space in what used to be a pretty dead and empty area of the park. Really made it feel so much more alive. I mean, you can see how many people are back here. The park is not crowded today. It's pretty empty today, but normally even on crowded days, this area of the park is empty. So it's great they've really utilized the space well and really turned the tables where this went from the most dead area of the park to one of the most bustling areas. Anyhow, another thing I'm not a fan of, they've renamed Storm Chaser to Wind Chaser, which pretty much everyone agrees with this, but that's a really stupid name. But there's the bracket up there where the old Storm Chaser sign used to be on this plaza. Obviously it's removed, very sad. And inside here is our new sign for Wind Chaser, which is a really dumb name, but at least they've redone this plaza where it actually looks pretty dang nice now. The flying scooters from the front of the park have been rethemed, repainted, and moved into the infield of Storm Chaser here, which is great to see. I've been saying for years that having a small flat ride in Storm Chaser's infield would do a lot to help this area feel less junky, and they actually did it, and it does look really nice. We have lots of extra little, I don't know if you call them theming, but atmospheric elements placed around. We have new planters, we have new landscaping, all that stuff. They've really turned this plaza from one of the ugliest spots in the park to not quite as ugly. Unfortunately, Storm Chaser itself is still probably the ugliest RMC I've ever seen. They repainted the trains, as you can see, but they did not repaint the ride itself. So those rails are so worn out that they're just black. It's a really disgusting looking ride. So hopefully that's on their list at some point to give this ride a repaint or something, because it looks bad. But yeah, Discovery Meadows is a beautiful area, other than the fact that Wind Chaser / Storm Chaser here literally looks like it's been abandoned for 10 years. And then more weirdness. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of weirdness here as we're in like a very transitionary period for the next couple years as this whole park is being reworked. But this is where the path used to continue because this whole back half of the park was a loop. But much like how the front of the park is no longer a loop due to construction, the back half of the park is no longer a loop either. It just dead ends here. Back there is where you used to have your River Rapids ride, your Larson Super Loop, T3. All three of those rides are gone. T3 is like all the way gone. When I was here last summer, this was all still open, so I was able to go buy T3, but it's completely gone now. I can see from Storm Chaser that the Larson Loop is about halfway disassembled now back there, and if we can get a good angle, you may be able to see the building on the River Rapids ride, which is also permanently closed, is still intact. So they're not doing that much work back there yet. Again, I'm sure this is a little farther down their list. It's just kind of what happens here when you're trying to redo an entire park. It's interesting. I can't really think of another case, at least recently, that we've seen an undertaking like this where they're literally just redoing the entire park, basically. We're keeping some rides, but a lot of stuff's being replaced. Everything's being rethemed section by section. We really haven't seen anything like this before. And that's just kind of what happens, I guess. They decided T3, Rapids, all that, don't need them anymore, but we're not ready to replace them quite yet, so just block it off. It's just weird. The footprint of the park has shrunk this year. Obviously, the footprint will not be shrunk permanently. That's just temporarily while we're in this few-year transitionary period. I'm sure it'll be a couple years before we see that space back there utilized, but there is a decent amount of space now that we know the River Rapids, T3, the Larson Loop, literally everything back there is being demolished. So they will have a completely clean slate back there to basically do whatever they want. So that'll be really interesting to see what they go for, especially considering Discovery Meadows here is largely a retheme of what's already here. The area near the front of the park for next year where the new Vekoma, most likely family suspended, is going, that'll be kind of more, they'll have more freedom to kind of do what they want up there, but they're still working around some existing buildings and stuff. When they do get to the area back there where the Rapids used to be and T3 and all that, that is a completely clean slate for them to do whatever they want. So I'm super interested to see what they do go for there. Here's that new park map. You can see this is where the 2026 edition is going there, which hopefully this will be a complete loop again once that's done. But then you can see here Discovery Meadow is just a dead end now, where it used to loop all the way around and connect here. Everything back here is gone, or at least in the process of being demolished. So again, kind of a weird time to visit the park. And just to finish off this little current state of Kentucky Kingdom video, I thought we'd go ahead and walk down this forbidden path, leaving Discovery Meadow, entering into the water park, go over by Kentucky Flyer, because all that stuff is still open, but it's really its own offshoot way out there by now, with how the park is laid out now. Really a hike. With the way the park is currently laid out, with so many areas closed for construction and demolition and stuff, it is really a hike to get over to where Kentucky Flyer is. So I don't want to ride it today because I'm really short on time, but I do want to go over there and just kind of check out what things look like from that side. Kind of weird to see this sign with the new logos on there. I've never been in this park before when the water park is closed. It completely changes the entire vibe. Strange. It's kind of crazy with as busy as Discovery Meadows is. You come down this area and it's just completely empty by comparison, but I was kind of interested how they would do the whole water park being closed thing during the fall and winter, since at this park there's basically no differentiation between the dry and water park. And apparently the answer is they just kind of put up plastic barriers everywhere. Okay, yeah, so there's Kentucky Flyer and Skycatcher, and that is as far as we can go. Way back there you can see last time I was here, Deluge, their water coaster, had been closed for a couple years but was still standing. It has now been removed, not there anymore. And then of course T3 used to be on the other side of that wooden fence back there as well. I think I can still kind of see part of T3 station there for some reason, but the actual ride is completely gone. Yeah, anyways, that's just a quick look at the current state of Kentucky Kingdom from the construction of the new 2026 attraction or attractions, brand new for 2025 Discovery Meadows area, and just the general weirdness around the park with a lot of paths being closed off and such, as Herschend is basically leveling whole areas of this park and rebuilding them. So if you do visit anytime soon, it is going to be a very weird next couple of years here. Glad to see Herschend actually taking action and doing something with this park instead of just using it, if you know what I mean. That's about that. I was only here for about 2 hours, but I'm gonna head out now because I need to get home today, which is pretty far away. So thanks for watching. Hope to catch a ride with you again very soon.